Jai Shri Krishna. Good morning. A warm and hearty welcome to Mr. Ravi Santlani, founder and CEO School News, Mr. Ratnesh Jha, MD Burlington English, and Chief Mentor for New India Education Summit, Mr. Anand Krishnaswamy, Mentor for NCF Early Childhood Care and Education, Mrs. Aditi Mishra, Director Principal, Delhi Public School, Mrs. Amrita Burman, Deputy Director, Sunbeam Group of Educational Institutions, Mrs. Pramini Chopra, Principal, Seth M.R. Jaipuria School, Gomti Nagar, and a hearty welcome to our team of Jaipuria Group from Lucknow and New Delhi. A special welcome to Mr. and Mrs. Madhok and fellow educators, learners at the August gathering present here today. There are many salient points in the NEP 2020, and all cannot be highlighted here at this present moment. The focus of my address will be on NEP's emphasis on, and I quote, a rootedness and pride in India and its rich, diverse, ancient and modern culture and knowledge, systems and traditions, unquote. Why has NEP 2020 given so much importance to these? Let me begin with a story that I quite often quote to my students and teachers. Once, an eagle's egg fell into a chicken's coop and got mixed with the hen's eggs. The hen looked after the egg as her own, and when the eaglet was born, she brought him up as she brought up her own chicks. The eaglet was fed chicken food and was told that he can fly just a few centimeters above the ground. Why? Because after all, he believed he's only a chicken, brought up by chicken. One day, the eaglet saw a huge eagle flapping his strong wings and gliding through the sky for a long while. And he asked his mother hen if he too could fly like that. The mother hen replied, "The bird that is flying up there in the air is an eagle. You are just a chicken." Just as the eaglet was brought up believing that he's a chicken and has the potentiality of only a chicken, similarly, it has over the years been hammered into us that we are, after all, only human. Our potentiality is limited, and we have started believing that we are limited beings. Yes, it is true that our physical being, our emotional being, our mental being are limited for the time being. But the fact is, my dear friends, that we have within us an unlimited and perfect being also. And that is our true self. We may call it our soul, Atma, Ruh, call it what you may, but it is the flame within us which is our true being. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe Arjuna tishtati. The Lord, O Arjuna, is seated in the heart of all existences, said Sri Krishna to Arjuna. We are divine, perfect, and unlimited in essence, in our highest self, although imperfect in our outer manifestation. Sometimes we are aware of these imperfections, and most of the time not. Duryodhan said, "Dharmam janami, na cha me pravritti. Adharmam janami, na cha me nivritti." I know what is dharma, or the right action, but I don't have the inclination to practice it. I know what is adharma, or the wrong action, but I neither possess the inclination nor the willpower to be free from it. The overarching question that arises is, what is that pedagogy? What is that pedagogy that will chisel such a personality that not only knows right from wrong, but also possesses the strength to choose the right and the strength to practice the right? There must be a pedagogy which we have become unaware of And we knew that pedagogy, it just got lost some 75 years back or more. Swami Vivekanand answered this question clearly and squarely in his ideals of man making education. He said that besides the physical, emotional, and mental being, we possess a fourth dimension in us, the dimension of our soul. If we learn to connect with that highest being in us, if our child, our students learn to connect with that highest being in them, it will not only enlighten them with the knowledge of right and wrong, but it will also empower the students with the strength of will to choose the right and practice it. Now, the next question that arises: when should the knowledge of this presence of the highest self be given to a child? This should be done when the child is young and impressionable. At age 2 or 3, the child should start being exposed to this presence because it is there. It is his natural inheritance, it is him. That is his true self. Why should he not know about it, he or she? When he is young, 2, 3, it's so much easier for him to connect with it because all the outer imperfections and the greed and the lust and the desires and the ego have not crept in. There is a free-flowing communication channel with which the child can communicate if he is informed about it. And this knowledge should be reinforced through school years again and again and again and again. Another question arises at this point. How do we expose the child to this presence? Can it be done by just informing him? अरे देखो, आपके अंदर एक सोल है, वही आप हैं. सब बोलने से हो जाएगा क्या? It doesn't happen like that. These are there is a science behind this whole process. Our rishis have already paved the way. They have traveled through the maze of their mental, emotional, and physical beings and have discovered the path that leads spontaneously, easily to this inmost light, this pool of delight. Why reinvent the wheel? It is for this reason that NEP 2020 has accorded such important place to Sanskrit. I would like to inform the august gathering present here that St. M.R. Jaipuria schools are teaching Sanskrit as the third language in our Gomti Nagar campus since 2003. We have created our own curriculum. Our books are called Deva Bhasha. Sanskrit is mandatory in our schools from playgroup to grade 8. Besides teaching simple conversational Sanskrit, Deva Bhasha curriculum has accorded in the last chapter, Divyavani, special attention to mantras from the Vedas, Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, which focus on the presence of the soul, the spirit in man as well. Of course, there are many, many mantras, and these mantras have been picked up. Actually, we've given a lot of importance and time to the selection because there are thousands of mantras in the Vedas and Upanishads. But those that would be relevant for a student to grow in his values, to know how to study, to know how to, what is the place of elders in your being, in your family circumstance. These mantras are really important and they are part of our curriculum. And this curriculum focuses on value inculcation through stories, biographies and poems. Let me clarify here. These values are universal and eternal in nature, sarvabhaumik and sanatana, and they would enrich any being, irrespective of his/her nationality, religion, class or creed. Our students are anthologies of verses from these three texts, Vedas, Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita. They are not parrots who only recite these verses. They understand and can explain succinctly their deeper nuances.
अहम् ऐच्छिका अहं सर्वेषां रक्षणां करोमि। जय हिंद, धन्यवादः। मम नाम बोरा। अहं शिक्षिका। अहं संस्कृतं पाठयामि। अङ्गुष्ठा, तर्जनी, मध्यमा, अनामिका, कनिष्ठिका। धन्यवादः।
संस्कृतस्य कृते जीवन संस्कृतस्य कृते यजन् आत्मानमाहुतं मन्ये वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्। सर्वेभ्यो विश्व संस्कृत दिवसस्य महनीयतमा हार्दिकी शुभकामना। भवन्तः जानन्ति एव यत् अद्य जयपुरिया विद्यालयेन संस्कृत दिवसः आयोज्यते।
कोऽहं सोऽहम् अहं ब्रह्मास्मि जीवो ब्रह्मैवनापरः मनैव मनुष्याणां कारणं बन्धमोक्षयोः। तो ये सब जो उपनिषदों के इतने अच्छे अच्छे सूत्र हैं, इनको मैं सीधे इनका अर्थ समझ पाऊँ। और संस्कृत भाषा ही देखें तो इसी से ही संबंधित होता है, संस्कृति शब्द होता है।
बिल्कुल।
तो ये संस्कृति जो कल्चर है वो आती है अध्यात्म से। अध्यात्म से ही संस्कृति निकलती है, वेदों से ही संस्कृति आई है। और वेदों की भाषा ही जो संस्कृत है, इसलिए अगर हमें वहाँ तक पहुँचना है तो संस्कृति एक सहायक होती है।
कि मेरी उच्चारण कैसी थी, और अभी भी जो हिंदी भी बोल रहा हूँ वो भी मतलब अच्छे से नहीं बोल पाता था, उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा तुतलाता था, स्पष्ट नहीं हो पाती थी, ये सभी लोग जानते थे। और फिर महोदय जी हमें श्लोक पढ़ाते रहीं, फिर उस संस्कृत से ही मेरी स्पीकिंग स्किल बहुत अच्छी हो गई थी।
Sanskrit adds a special arrow in our quiver of knowledge. Like, not only does it impact our soul, it also streamlines our thoughts. And whenever we recite a shloka, जैसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं तरंग, तरंगित हो जाती है वो पॉजिटिविटी, वो ऑप्टिमिज्म हमारी बॉडी में, जिस वजह से हमारे थॉट्स क्लियर हो जाते हैं, हमारा कंफ्यूजन दूर हो जाता है। संस्कृत वो भाषा है, आप कम शब्दों में बहुत कुछ एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं।
What connected to this language was Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Because I joined the school in class 6th and Bhagavad Gita classes also started in the same year. So I just, it was just happening spontaneously. मेरे core को जिसने hit किया, that was this language.
In E block, room 303, next to the breakout rooms, Devabhasha books have been kept on display, and we are screening short videos of our Sanskrit classroom teaching from playgroup to grade 8. I invite all participants to this exhibition. We are happy to handhold schools who wish to adopt Devabhasha curriculum. We will assist you in looking for, interviewing and training Sanskrit teachers for such schools. Our aim is to bring about a positive transformation in the Indian youth and therefore do our bit for national integration. The second point that I would like to highlight today is that it is as important to be rooted in our culture as it is to be exposed to futuristic knowledge systems. It is for this reason that Indian heritage and culture too have been accorded great importance in NEP 2020. A nation thrives when its citizens have pride in their culture and are rooted in it. This pride must be instilled through our education system. Thirdly, I would like to highlight one more important aspect that is missing in our education. A secret has been discovered by our ancients, which reveals how the Supreme Universal Mother or Supreme Force manages the universe, using both the science and art of management. The planets revolve on their own axis, never deviating. Seasons come and seasons go at the right time. Our bodies are immaculately designed. Our brain has folds and folds of grey matter, and it is protected by the skull. Our circulatory system, our digestive system, our heart pumping blood into the whole body, everything about our body, everything about the universe. It's amazing. There has to be somebody who had designed it, who had thought about it. The Isha Upanishad talks clearly about it. He's called the Kavi when he designs it. Manishi, when he throws the ideas forth in front of him to plan it, and Paribhu, who is the lord of all this. Who executes his plan? There are 4 aspects or forces in the universe which are used by him, which are part of him. In our philosophy, we call them 4 Shaktis: Maheshwari or wisdom or Bodhi, Mahakali or strength or Shakti, Mahalakshmi or harmony or Samarasyam, and Mahasaraswati or perfection or Purnata. If we don't want to use the names Maheshwari, Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, it's okay, because they are depicted by wisdom, strength, harmony, and perfection. These aspects are not just any 4 human traits. They are aspects of the divine personality, the divine force itself. When we clean the temple of our hearts and welcome these aspects of the higher power of God, they become our friends and help us. We can actually establish a relationship with them. Our education system must expose our students to their presence, to these forces of the universe. We must help them to connect to these forces. As we ascend, creating a deeper and deeper and deeper relationship with them, we will see an infusion of these qualities permeating in our being. We create a relationship, we forge a relationship, and these forces start infusing us with their qualities. What permeates into our being? Wisdom in our thinking, strength in our acts, harmony in our relationships, as well as harmony within our own being, and most importantly, perfection in all that we do. As we go higher and higher, climbing the ladder of life, illumination, heroism, harmony, and skill begin to reflect in us, and we begin to shine like a diamond, chiseled by the master craftsman himself. What is illumination? We must understand deeply. Illumination comes in the mind when we have reached a clarity. There is a clarity in the mind, and there is silence. When there is silence, then illumination and intuition reflect in the mind as light of stars reflects on a calm pool of water. Our students in Jaipuria school practice silence for 2 minutes after every period. Why? Because this practice of silencing the mind, first silencing the physical body, and then slowly it happens that your emotions are silenced. And by the time they reach class 12, there must be some kind of silence that has been instilled in the child's mind as well. Now talking about heroism. Heroism grows in a child who contemplates on the strength of the body, health of his body, and the strength of willpower. That is what strength is. Harmony within oneself and harmony with the environment, harmony with the universe at large, cannot be imbibed at an old age. We all know that. We all try to practice harmony, but is it easy? But if it is done at a young age, this is much more easy to actually become harmonious. Development of skills. Development of skills is part of the NEP 2020, because this is what will make the difference between educated, employable youth and educated, unemployable youth. Perfection in all that the child does has to become a habit, a nature. The 4 houses of Seth M.R. Jaipuria School, Gomti Nagar, Lucknow, are named wisdom, strength, harmony, and perfection for this reason. Our students strive to consciously transform their beings and develop these 4 aspects within themselves. It is for this reason our school facade has wall art, highlighting these aspects. We would love to take you around and explain this art to you, although it is quite self-explanatory. Our school is called St. M.R. Jaipuria School of Conscious Transformations. In another forum, we would love to share our best practices with participating schools. I would like to end with another story. The ape heard a whisper. The whisper said, "Change, for you must change. You will change." The ape set the voice aside. It made no sense to him. He was such a perfect ape, standing on twos, peeling his banana gracefully, swinging deftly from tree to tree. What change could his species need? The voice kept on whispering, "You have no choice. You will change." That was the voice of the unrelenting evolutionary force. You may call her Shakti or don't call her Shakti. It is the evolutionary force which used the ape's body as a laboratory and created you and me, us, human beings. Only those apes evolved into men whose bodies were fit for this leap of evolution. Had the ape understood what Shakti meant, would it have believed her that he, a jungle-treading ape, would evolve into an Einstein, a Ramanujan, a J.R.D. Tata? No, it would have never believed. The human was born, and with him evolved the mind. In the physical, mental, and scientific realm, mankind has made immense progress. But we have chosen to remain dwarfed spiritually and therefore morally too. Today, just like the apes, we believe ourselves to be the epitome of creation. We find it hard to believe that this too is only a transitory phase, that we too will evolve into higher and higher versions of ourselves, provided we make a conscious effort to transform. Sri Aurobindo has said in The Hour of God, and I quote, "Man is a transitional being. He is not final. For in man and high beyond him ascend the radiant degrees of supermanhood." Unquote. Today, the door is open for all mankind. We all have a choice. We have a choice to remain content in our mediocrity or choose to collaborate with Shakti, whose evolutionary force is constantly compelling us to collaborate with her, to take with her the next leap forward in her evolutionary march to become luminous beings of light, love, power, and bliss. These four match with wisdom, strength, harmony, and perfection. We all still hear her whisper. The evolutionary force is still speaking to us, and the voice is saying, "Change, for you must change." But this time, the choice is yours. Before I end, I would like to inform the August gathering present here that we don't preach, we teach. We teach also. Our lesson plans have spiritual ideas and philosophies knitted into them. Our ICSE results 2022, All India rank was from our school. All India third rank and fourth rank were from our school. And our school average was 89.71%. Our ISC results 2022, All India first rank Akshat Agarwal was from our school. All India third rank 2 students were from our school. And the school average was 88.02%. Thank you. Vande Mataram.